Hey there friends, it's Missy again. Thanks so much for stopping in today. I have a new layout and video to share for the Paige Evans design team, and I'm going to be starting this layout with a cut file, and this is one of Paige's newer cut files. It's called Diamond Leaves, and I went ahead and cut it on 3 different pattern papers from the Go the Scenic Route collection, and I wanted to create some dimension and some shadowing effects by layering them kind of offset of each other. And I used paper 2, paper 6, and paper 15 to cut those. And I'm going to scrap a pool photo. I've been scrapping fall things lately, and I wanted to go bright and summery for a change. So that's what I'm going to do. These are my favorite colors, and I just wanted to go bright. And the photo is not a super bright photo. It was kind of a overcast day, but it's still a pool photo, and I'm going to make this nice and bright. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and glue all 3 of these cut files together so you can kind of see a little bit of the dark blue one and the lighter blue one kind of peeking through the or peeking around the pink paper that I cut it on. And so now I can just move it all together as one unit. I'm going to go with white, thick, smooth cardstock as my background. That's the Basil Marshmallow. And I'm going to coat it with clear gesso to prep it for some mixed media because I'm going to do lots of color on the background. So I'm going to go ahead and get my photo set up here with some white tissue paper behind it and some adhesive foam because I know that I want to pop it up off the page. And if you notice on the left side of the photo, there's some open space because my daughter is over on the right side. So I have some open space that allows me to tuck the photo underneath the row of leaves there. So that's what my idea was when I made this or decided to use this cut file. So I'm going to start with Distress Oxides. I love using these, haven't used them in a while. And I just like to basically stamp the ink pad right onto the paper, spritz it with water to activate it, and then use my brush and then kind of turn the paper a couple different directions to let it just run and spread. And I kind of wish I would have waited for the yellow part to dry before I started doing this blue section, because then I realized, well, I can't really turn the page this way and that way because they're going to run together. And I didn't want them to run together. So I'm going to wind up dabbing up a lot of this blue. And you can see how the color is pooling up on top of the paper. It's not just soaking through. I'm able to wipe up a lot of it. And that's because of the gesso. The gesso basically separates the paper from the liquid for a good amount of time. You can see how I can pretty much dab this up if I change my mind. It allows the color to sit on top of the paper for a while before it just soaks through and dries, and that's why I almost always use gesso, because it allows me to mix and match and let the colors run and spread and blend. Allows you to have time to change your mind if you want to. Now, I do love to mix in my shimmer sprays when I use Distress Oxides. I'm going to do a lot of that today. I pulled out a color called Mustard Seed and then a color called Glorious Day and added it into that Distress Oxide, which is fossilized amber. And you can see how pretty much I dabbed up the blue section because I decided to wait, get the yellow section done, and then we'll come back to the blue section. And that blue Distress Oxide is something sapphire. I can't remember the entire name of it, but I'm going to spray in a little bit of shimmers also. That blue color is Deep Blue Sea. And I'm trying to achieve a really pretty dark navy color to match the navy in the papers. And I'm just going to keep working with it. And I put the yellow at the bottom because I have yellow at the top of the cut file. So I'm trying to kind of mix and match where the colors go behind the photo there. And I'm going to keep working on this because I don't love it at this point. I know that the backgrounds always look kind of messy until you finish them, and then when you put everything back on top of it, it looks different. So that's why I keep bringing the cut file and the picture back to see how it looks, because it's okay if the background looks like a hot mess. If it looks okay when you put everything back on top of it, then it doesn't matter. And I keep wiping up because every time I spray, a dark blue color, it really splatters everywhere, and I'm trying to keep it contained to this area. So that's why I keep using my napkin there to wipe around the edges. So I took a little break. I keep coming back. I'm going to keep working on it. I didn't want to do too much around the edges. I just wanted the colors to kind of show around the cut file and around the photo. And I do want a little bit of pink, not a lot of pink, because there is a lot of pink in the cut file. But I thought that around the upper right and top of the photo, a little bit of pink peeking out. So I used the Seedless Preserves Distress Oxide. Even though the container looks purple, it's this really pretty deep pink color, really, really pretty. And I'm going to mix in a little bit of Shimmers Caribbean Sunset, because there's a hint of a reddish pink color in the cut file there, so I want to echo that color a little bit. And then to make it look a little bit deeper in areas, I'm going to add in a pink color called Pink Stiletto, and just use a little bit from the nozzle to drip that in. Again, I'm trying to keep this pink background area to a minimum there, so I don't have pink overkill on this. All right, so this background looks totally terrible like this, but when you put everything back, it looks different. I think it looks better. I feel like I have a little too much blue and a little too much yellow. I wanted to keep it a little more compact, but you know what? That happens when you make a mixed media background. It tends to grow, you know, because you just keep adding and adding, and that's what happens. So I'm just going to go with it and see how it winds up turning out. Now, I do want to add a little bit of green, because there is a little bit of green on the bottom left part of the cut file. And if you can see the green peeking out there at the bottom. So this is a green shimmers called Velveteen Green, and I just wanted a little hint of it peeking out of this area above the photo there. So I just do a tiny little bit, use my brush and my fingers there to kind of smudge it in. So yeah, this is definitely what I would call a customized background to fit this particular cut file and this particular photo. Because a lot of times when I make my background, I just go for it, and then however it winds up, that's how it looks. But with this one, I'm trying to really make it work with this design and not get too crazy. So then what do? I decide to add another color, and this is my all-time favorite shimmers color, Jenny B Blue. I love that blue color, and I'm going to add that to this bottom left area just to have a little bit of that peeking underneath and around that part of the cut file there. And it looks kind of green here. My lights go in and out on this particular day when I made this video. Sometimes the lighting is great and sometimes it is just terrible. So hopefully these colors are spot on. That's why I always make sure in my final photos I get them in natural light, and I make sure that the layout is bright and the colors are exactly what they are, because sometimes the lighting over my desk can be tricky and make them look different. All right, so I'm liking this rainbow color scheme. This collection just always inspires me to go rainbow because all the colors are just stunning. And I thought I would use the stamps. This is the acrylic stamp set that comes in the Go the Scenic Route collection, and I'm going to use this little diamond piece here, and I'm just going to add some texture to the background. I'm going to go back to these Distress Oxide pads and just do a little bit of messy stamping tone on tone. So I'm going to do the blue ink pad on the blue section and the yellow on the yellow, and just add a little bit more detail. This is just something fun you can do with stamps to add a little something something extra to the background. And you know, from here, once I put everything back on top of it, you really can't see it. You can see it up close in certain areas, but it kind of just blends in and adds a little bit of texture and detail to the background, which I love. And I hadn't used the stamps yet. Well, I take that back. I tried to use this actual stamp on another layout, but it wound up blending in so much you couldn't even really tell, so it didn't really make a statement. But on this one, I feel like, especially on the pink section, you can see it stand out. So stamping doesn't have to be intimidating, you know, it can just be subtle details like this, which are fun to do, especially if you like making your own backgrounds. So I'm liking how this is going. I am going to add a little bit of water to some of the stamps to kind of fade out some of the harsher edges, especially on the pink section there. But this is what I've got so far. You can kind of see the subtle stamping on the background there. Just adds a little something extra, I think. So I know pretty much now how everything is going to go. I couldn't stand it. You know my obsession lately with adding white splatters, so I had to do this. And in order to do that, for me, my favorite way and easiest and fastest way to do that is just to water down a little bit of white acrylic paint to make it thinner, and then just go to town with my brush and start splattering it down. And I just think this looks cool on bold colors like this because you can see it. It just adds, again, adds a little bit of extra detail to the background. It's very subtle, and I like the way it looks, so we did it. I picked out threads from my stash to add in a couple spots, and I'm going to add in some dark blue here at the bottom because if you look at that section, I really don't have any of that color there. I've got that bright yellow, and so a dark contrasting color is perfect for that section. Now if I wanted to do tone on tone, this layout would look totally different, and what that would mean is I would have added the yellow up to the top behind the yellow leaves, and then I would have done a bunch of pink under the pink, and so on and so on. But if you look at the cut file as a whole, the way I have it, I don't really have a dark blue section, but since I offset it, you can see a lot of dark blue throughout the whole thing. So that's why I wanted to echo that color in a couple spots. And now I'm just going to start to go through everything. The die cuts, the floral die cuts, and just start to play around. I wasn't even sure what I wanted to add or where I wanted to add it. Did I want to go with flowers or not? I did use a piece of that tag. I'm going to wind up taking that off, but I mainly tried it over there on the right because of the color. Because if you can see, I've got pink and yellow, but I needed something else in a different color to go right there. And I did add some thread onto underneath the left side of the cut file there, that orangey yellow color. I'm going to wind up using this puffy sticker here that says where the fun begins. And I just tried it out at first over to the right, mainly because of the color. I like that it brings that dark blue and the turquoise color over to that side of the page. And then I'm going to create a little cluster there as well with some flowers. And I'm going to tuck in some leaves, some flowers. Again, try to mix the colors around so it's not tone on tone. It's varied in, you know, basically the colors are everywhere. I really liked this tile circle multicolored die cut there. I felt like it added a little something to cover up some of the yellow section under the photo because I feel like the yellow section kind of got too big, and so I feel like adding that die cut under the photo kind of shortens or makes the yellow section a little bit smaller, which I like. So I did some fussy cutting. I didn't show that on camera because, you know, fussy cutting is just cutting. It's kind of boring. But one of the floral papers from the 6x8 paper pad, and I'm going to scatter those around in a couple of places, as well as some of these green and blue leaves. And I'm going to start to glue things down because I don't think anything is glued down at this point. So I don't want to remove anything because I'll never get it back where I had it. So I'm going to just very carefully start to peel things up and add some glue. And I'm using the Scotch Tacky glue there in my fine liner bottle. My favorite glue. Works great. You do have a little bit of time to move things around, but when it dries, it really dries and things stay put. So I'm going to start to work on that little cluster over to the right there. I have a couple of smaller flowers and leaves that I'm going to add to that to break up some of that dark blue on the edge there so that frame isn't so boxy. I like to add things to break that up. Oh, there's Paige. She's trying to lean in and give me kisses. She hasn't been in my videos in a while, so nice to see her again. She's in here all the time. Trust me. She's my supervisor. She's my boss lady, so she's always got to check out what I'm doing, but she finally stuck her head in there and made an appearance. I'll tell her you said hello. What am I doing? I'm adding more thread. This is a light blue thread there, and I could not get it like I wanted, so I had to mess with it over and over until I got it just so. Yeah, I know I say this a lot about cut files, but it is true. Something like this particular cut file I really, really like, because when I looked at it and I saw the big diamond shape on the right that was open, it instantly gave me a place to tuck my photo into. And so once you have that, I feel like the layout is pretty much designed for you, and it kind of takes out some of the guesswork of, you know, where's my photo going to go and where's this going to go. So it kind of made the layout for me, and then the rest of it is just, you know, making a background and adding details. So I love that about, you know, what cut files can do for your design process. These are the puffy phrase stickers, or the puffy word stickers, and I'm going to add one to the bottom of the photo there because I have some open space. I feel like it's not crowding the photo, and I like the color. It's that turquoise color. And I mean, there's actually quite a bit on top of the photo here, but I feel like it kind of looks like she is, you know, coming out of the water, but she's also kind of coming out of this nice tropical bunch of leaves, which I like. She's kind of tucked in there, which I like. So this is just me adding some smaller details here. This is a dark blue label die cut. I'm going to cut it in half and just add a sliver of it to the bottom and a sliver of it up at the top. And just that little bit of detail, I think it helps separate the photo from the background. Just that little tiny bit of color can make such a big impact. And it's one of those details that you don't really notice until, you know, you look at the layout in great detail. You just know, oh, the photo really stands out. Well, that's because of these little small, teeny tiny details that you add in, I think. I think that makes a big difference, even though it's the tiniest detail. Now, this is another paper from the 6x8 paper pad full of beautiful butterflies. I'm going to fussy cut out a few of those because they match and they're just so pretty. And I feel like this is kind of a colorful, carefree layout. Let's add some butterflies. I added that smile sticker over to the left right there. That is from the cardstock stickers, and I just felt like sticking it right there. I like the color, kind of breaks up some of the pink. And then this is a die cut that says it's the little things, and I'm going to hack it up and basically make this into little strips. And I thought I was going to put it over to the right, but it's not going to go there. It's going to go somewhere else, but I am going to use it. But I'm going to play around with it, try to find a home for it. I tried it on the side, I tried it on the top, and then I just finally left it and decided to add another title at the bottom. I went back and forth with what to add. Did I want happy to be the title? Did I want to add something else? I went to the puffy thickers and used the word everyday, and then combined that with the good sticker that's from the cardstock stickers, and then that's where I'm going to use the little things from that die cut that I cut up. I'm not going to use it's the, so my title is kind of strange. It's going to be happy everyday good little things, I guess you could call it. So this is one of those titles where you just kind of mix and match a bunch of things to come up with almost a complete sentence because it's so long. But yeah, I just like all the different colors of the words. I like that they're, you know, some of them are puffy stickers. The fonts are different. I like the orange behind the good on that sticker. And I'm going to create a little floral cluster down here with some more small flowers, fussy cut ones, die cut ones, and just kind of bring that down. Journaling is next, almost done. I'm going to add a little bit of some lines over here to the left. And then today I'm going to use a blue pen, a Pilot, I think. I didn't want to use black and I didn't want to use gold. So I went with blue, and this wasn't the best pen. It kind of bled in a couple spots, but that's okay. The last thing I'm going to do is add splatters from the same shimmers colors that I used earlier, just in the same color areas there. And then I do add the date. I believe I add the date. Yeah, add the date off camera, but that's going to wrap it up. And there is the final layout with the true colors. I really do like how this turned out. I think the colors are gorgeous in this collection, and I love making backgrounds to match it because they're all my favorite colors. And yeah, I think it turned out really pretty, and I hope it gave you some ideas to try. You know, you may not like mixed media, but hopefully something in my process or in this layout, you know, gave you some ideas or some inspiration to try on your own layouts, because that's why I make these videos, to spread inspiration and to you know, give you some fun sparks of something to try in your layouts. But I'm going to link the cut file and this collection and everything that I use down below. So if you have any questions, you can let me know. I hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching.